The primary goal of this course is to arm you with the knowledge necessary to compete in the information age. Understanding data, information, business intelligence, and knowledge are the core drivers of the information age. So let's get started down the path of transforming data into knowledge. If we were in person, I would ask you to look around the room and identify 3 pieces of data and 3 pieces of information. But this is a bit of a trick question. Unless you know the system you are building or the problem you are trying to solve, it is impossible to know what is data and what is information. For example, if you were building a system to track students, data might include height, name, and hair color. Information might include student-to-professor ratio, percentage of marketing majors who are female, and number of students who pass the course. Another example, if you were building a system to track inventory, data might be the chair manufacturer, the chair color, and the chair size. Information might include number of chairs required for students in each class, or the average number of chairs needed to be replaced each semester. Digging in a little deeper, we will start with data. Data is the raw facts that describe the characteristics of an event or object. An example of data could be an order date, amount sold, customer number, or quantity of an order. There are 2 types of data we will discuss: structured data and unstructured data. Structured data is stored in a traditional system, such as a relational database or spreadsheet. We categorize structured data into 2 types: machine-generated data and human-generated data. Machine-generated data is created by a machine without human intervention. An example of this would be sensor data, point-of-sale data, and weblog data. For instance, when you swipe your credit card, a machine is collecting the data from your card. Data such as your card number, name, and financial institution to which the charges are applied to. As you might have guessed, human-generated data is data that humans, in interaction with computers, generate. An example of this might be input data and clickstream data, like when you purchase a product online and you manually key in your payment information. Unstructured data, on the other hand, is not defined and does not follow a specified format. It can get a little messy. Now let's try to illustrate data. To keep it clean, we will use an Excel spreadsheet for our example. The rows in this spreadsheet demonstrate structured data. A fundamental role of all business managers is to be able to take the data and analyze it to find information to make great business decisions. Today, we look at Tony's Snack Company data. What represents data in the figure? The unit price for Doritos is one piece of data in the figure. The unit cost for Ruffles is another piece of data in the figure. Even the sales representative per order is data in the figure. But what is the difference between price and cost? And what would happen to a manager that only focuses on total sales and not total profit? That is why we convert data into information. Information is simply data converted into a meaningful and useful context. Some examples of information are taking data to determine things like the best-selling product, best customer, worst-selling product, or even the worst customer. By turning the data from Tony's Snack Company we previously looked at into information, you would be able to answer questions like: who are my best customers? Who are my least profitable customers? What is my best-selling product? What is my slowest-selling product? Who is my strongest sales representative? Who is my weakest sales representative? This is all information we can use to make better business decisions. Whoa, hang on tight. We have only just begun. Now that we understand the relationship between data and information, it's time to ramp things up a bit with business intelligence. Business intelligence is information collected from multiple sources such as suppliers, customers, competitors, partners, and industries. It analyzes patterns, trends, and relationships for strategic decision-making. We often refer to business intelligence by the initials, BI. Some examples of BI include lowest sales per week compared with economic interest rates, or best-selling product by month compared to sports season and a city team's win and loss record. We use analytics to answer those questions. When we talk about analytics, we are talking about the science of fact-based decision-making. There are 2 types of analytics. There is predictive analytics, and then there is behavioral analytics. This is where BI manipulates multiple variables and, in some cases, even hundreds of variables such as interest rates, weather conditions, gas prices, etc. Predictive analytics extracts information from data and uses it to predict future trends and identify behavioral patterns. One simple example of this is, how much will sales be next year, next quarter, or even next week? Behavioral analytics uses data about people's behaviors to understand their intent and predict future actions. Another easy example of this is how many customers will upgrade to the next generation cell phone. Finally, we have reached the ultimate stage of our core drivers, and that is knowledge. Knowledge are the skills, experience, and expertise coupled with information and intelligence that creates a person's intellectual resources. A knowledge worker is an individual valued for their ability to interpret and analyze information. Thinking back on our data to information example with Tony Snack Company, imagine that Tony analyzes his data and finds his weakest sales representative for this period is Craig Schultz. If Tony considered only this information, he might conclude that firing Craig was a good business decision. However, because Tony has knowledge about how the company operates, he knows Craig has been out on medical leave for several weeks. Hence, his sales numbers are low. Without this additional knowledge, Tony might have executed a bad business decision, delivered a negative message to the other employees, and sent his best sales representatives out to look for other jobs. The key point in this scenario is that it is simply impossible to collect all the information about every situation, and yet without that, it can be easy to misunderstand the problem. Using data, information, business intelligence, and knowledge to make decisions and solve problems is therefore the key to finding success in business. These core drivers of the information age are the building blocks of business systems.